Massachusetts. The former president of Iran is speaking this afternoon at the JFK School of Government at Harvard. He'll be talking about the ethics of tolerance. This is live coverage on C-SPAN.
Good afternoon. I'm Graham Allison, director of the Belfer Center for Science and International Affairs here at the Kennedy School, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the forum, the John F. Kennedy Jr. Forum, and to introduce our speaker this afternoon, Syed Mohammad Khatami, the former president of Iran. Before we begin this afternoon, let me remind you that tomorrow night here in the forum of the Kennedy School, we'll be marking the 5th anniversary of the 9/11 attack on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, with a special remembrance and reflection. That event will occur here at 6 p.m. tomorrow night, and I hope you can join us. That dark day in American history is one we take personally here in Boston, and especially here at the Kennedy School. Not only did 2 of the airplanes that were hijacked and used to attack the World Trade Center take off from Logan Airport, a number of members of the family of the Kennedy School were murdered by terrorists that day. At the Belfer Center, where scholars had, over the previous decade, been analyzing and anticipating mega terrorist attacks on America, we remember members of the Harvard Task Force on Preparedness for Terrorism, which had been going on over the several years before that attack, and particularly a member of it who died in the attack, Deputy Chief of the New York Fire Department, Jack Fanning, who was killed in the line of duty rescuing survivors. So as we start this afternoon, let me ask you to please stand and join me in a moment of silence to remember the victims of that vicious terrorist attack. Thank you very much. Questions have been raised about why the Kennedy School of Government invited former President Khatami to speak to the forum. President Bush answered that question in an interview this past week that appeared in this weekend's Wall Street Journal. Asked why he gave President Khatami a visa to visit the U.S. at this time, President Bush said, and let me quote, "I was interested to hear what he had to say. I'm interested in learning more about the Iranian government, how they think, what people think within the government. My hope is that diplomacy will work in convincing the Iranians to give up their nuclear weapons ambitions. And in order for diplomacy to work, it's important to hear voices other than the current president, Ahmadinejad," close quote. Well, in one word or one phrase, I agree. In the 5th year of the global war on terrorism, declared in response to the 9/11 attacks, no geopolitical relationship between 2 nations is more important or more troubled than the relationship between the U.S. and Iran. In March, Secretary of State Condi Rice declared that 2006 would be the year of Iran. This week, the United Nations Security Council will be deliberating about sanctions for Iran for its failure to comply with the earlier UN Security Council resolution demanding that it suspend uranium enrichment and enter negotiations about its nuclear ambitions. Last week, UN Secretary General Kofi Annan was in Tehran speaking to Mr. Khatami's successor, current President Ahmadinejad, about Lebanon and Hezbollah. As Americans continue to fight and to die in Iraq today, the U.S. government is acutely aware that no country has greater influence on the internal political developments in Iraq than Iran. In sum, vital American and Iranian interests intersect at many points on the globe today. The question of how these often competing and sometimes overlapping interests can be managed is among the greatest geopolitical challenges for American foreign policy today. Our speaker this evening served as president of Iran from 1997 until August of last year, August of 2005. Prior to his election, President Khatami chaired the Islamic Center in Hamburg, Germany, headed the National Library of Iran, and served as the Minister of Culture. He was elected president twice by significant majorities, with a strong support from democratic reformers and women. Mr. Khatami now heads the International Center for Dialogue Among Civilizations, an NGO with offices in Tehran and Europe. After President Khatami's remarks, we'll have an opportunity for students and faculty and others from the audience to ask questions. And at that time, I will remind you of the ground rules for the questions. But for now, let me ask you to join me in welcoming Mohammad Khatami.
به نام خدا. برای من افتخاری است که در جمع اساتید، محققان، دانشجویان و دانشجویان دانشگاه هاروارد در شهر زیبای کمبریج حضور بیابم.
It is truly my honor to be in the presence of the distinguished professors, academics, and students of Harvard University in the beautiful city of Cambridge.
در اینجا مایلم از برگزار کنندگان این جلسه، رئیس دانشکده و همکارانشان در مدرسه حکومت جان اف کندی و همچنین مؤسسه مطالعات بلفر و انستیتو سیاست تقدیر و تشکر کنم.
I wish to thank the organizer of this event, the dean and his associates from the John F. Kennedy School of Government, as well as the Belfer Center for Science and International Affairs.
می‌کوشم که سخنانم در اینجا کوتاه باشد تا فرصت گفتگو و استفاده از نظرات ارزشمند شما را نیز داشته باشم.
My talk will be a short one so that we can have enough time to benefit from your comments, questions, and ideas.
اگر مایل بودید می توانید به متن اصلی که در اختیار رسانه هاست مراجعه نمایید.
A more comprehensive version of my speech will be distributed to the media.
کشف قاره آمریکا در اواخر قرن 15 میلادی حادثه مهم به حساب می آید.
The discovery of the American continent at the end of the 15th century is rightly considered an important milestone in universal history.
جایگاه قاره آمریکا به طور اخص کشور ایالات متحده نقش بسیار مهمی در جریان‌های عمده فرهنگ و تمدن و ادبیات و علم و همچنین در عرصه سیاست داشته است که نقد و داوری درباره تأثیرات مثبت و منفی آن از حوصله یک سخنرانی بیرون است.
Of course, it's impossible to address the role of the continent in advancing various currents of culture, civilization, literature, science, and politics in one lecture.
این قاره پهناور که پیش از آن نیز مردمانی در آن میزیستند میزبان اروپاییان شد که در جستجوی ثروت و مکنت به این سرزمین روی آوردند و انصاف این که حق میزبانی مردمان بومی را به جا نیاوردند.
This vast continent, with its native inhabitants, played host to the Europeans who came here in search of wealth, but it is fair to say that the courtesies normally due to a host were not extended to it.
اما میهمانان این قاره مکشوف تنها سودجویان و جستجوگران طلا و ثروت نبودند.
The guests of the newly discovered continent, however, did not only consist of the adventurers and seekers of gold and riches.
بلکه انسانهای پاکتینتی به این سرزمین روی آوردند که طالب آزادی بودند.
They also included sincere humans who were attempting to escape extremism at home and came here in search of freedom.
و از افرادها به تنگ آمده بودند و از دینگریزی نیروهای جدید رنجیده بودند و از سوی دیگر نمی توانستند دین را به گونه‌ای ببینند که با آزادی و پیشرفت آدمی ناسازگار باشد.
They favored neither irreligion nor the kind of religion that would clash with freedom and human advancement.
آنان به این سرزمین آمدند تا هم ایمان خود را نگه دارند و هم آزادی را به صورتی که مطلوب می‌دانستند تجربه کنند.
They came here to keep their faith and experience a liberty that they had come to cherish.
نام خوشاهنگ پیوریتن ها همواره گوش جان دوستداران آزادی، مهربانی و انسانیت را خواهد نواخت.
The pleasant ring of the word Puritan has always delighted the lovers of freedom, compassion, and humanity.
در شهر پریموت تخت سنگی است که مورد تقدیس و احترام آمریکاییان است و این تخت سنگ همان است که اولین دسته از زنان و مردان جستجوگر حقیقت که خود را زائر می‌نامیدند از دریا بر آن پا نهادند.
Plymouth Rock and the celebration of Thanksgiving are testaments to the fondness Americans hold for these earliest of immigrants who came to America's shores as pilgrims.
و مردم آمریکا هر پنجشنبه آخر ماه نوامبر را روز شکرگزاری می‌نامند و خاطره آن روزها را گرامی می‌دانند.
The Anglo-American civilization is indeed deeply indebted to the Puritans.
تمدن آنگلو امریکن بیش از هر چیز مدیون بینش و منش پیوریتن هاست.
The American Constitution was influenced by their worldview.
و قانون اساسی آمریکا تحت تاثیر همین بینش و منش نوشته شده و توسط فرزندان همین زائران مبارزات آزادی بخش علیه استعمار صورت گرفت و با بردهداری و بردگی مبارزه شد.
And it was the children of these Puritans who fomented freedom-seeking struggles against imperialism and slavery.
به امید اینکه آمریکا مهد دموکراسی، آزادی، پیشرفت و در عین حال کانون ثروت و مکنت باشد و در همه حال معنویت نیز پاسداشته شود.
It was their wish that America would become the cradle of liberty and development and would combine worldly success and wealth with spirituality.
اما علیرغم خواست بنیانگذاران تمدن آنگلو امریکن چرخ روزگار بر مدار دیگری چرخید.
Despite the will of the founders of the Anglo-American civilization, however, destiny turned on a different hinge.
و سیاستمدارانی که میبایست روح آزاد پیوریتنها را سرمشق خود قرار دهند با تکیه بر قدرت شگرفی که آمریکا کسب کرده بود اندیشه استیلا بر جهان را در سر پروراندند.
Relying on the remarkable power of America, politicians who ought to have followed the free spirit of the Puritans started to nurse dreams of world domination.
نقش ممتاز آمریکا در جنگ جهانی که به خاطر دوری از منطقه جنگ خود از بسیاری از مصائب آن در امان بود و نقش تعیین کننده آمریکا در پایان دادن به جنگ جهانی دوم قدرت فوق العاده آمریکا را بر جهان آشکار کرد.
The prominent and consequential role the United States played in World War II while enjoying the relative safety of waging that war from a distance revealed the enormous power of the United States on the world stage.
و سبب شد که انگاره استعمار قدیم را که به شدت تضعیف شده بود در سر بپرورانند.
This resulted in the revival of arcane European imperialistic models in America.
و اروپا نیز که خود را وامدار آمریکا می‌دانست به قدرت بی‌بدیل فرزند خود گردن نهاد و بدین سان جغرافیای سیاسی قرن 20 به گونه‌ای متفاوت از آنچه بیشتر بود درآمد.
The Europeans who found themselves indebted to their peerless successor bowed their heads, and in this manner the political geography of the 20th century was radically transformed.
و اما امروز آنچه باید در جهان امروز نفی شود معیارهای دوگانه است.
What needs to be denounced in our world is the existence and practice of double standards.
ما نمیتوانیم و نباید جنگ تمام عیار و بی‌رحمانه یک دولت را به صرف اینکه دولت است و دولت نهاد شناخته شده بین المللی است علیه مردمان بی‌دفاع توجیه کنیم، ولی خشونت مردمان را غیر انسانی و وحشیانه بدانیم. طبیعی است که عکس این مطلب نیز درست است.
We cannot and should not justify a state's total war against a defenseless population on the basis of its sovereignty and international recognition while condemning the violence perpetrated by that population as barbaric and inhumane. The converse holds true as well.
معیار واحد باید نفی خشونت به طور کلی باشد. هدف باید صلح پایدار در سراسر جهان باشد و صلح پایدار جز بر پایه عدالت، نفی تبعیض و کنار گذاشتن معیارهای دوگانه به دست نمی آید.
A single standard must be adopted, rejection of violence. There ought to be the goal of a stable and lasting peace in the world. Peace in turn cannot be achieved on bases other than justice, equality, and rejection of double standards.
من به صراحت اعلام می کنم امروز هر کس سخن از جنگ‌های صلیبی بگوید و نظرش تحریک مسیحیان و مسلمانان یا غرب و شرق باشد و یا اهداف خاص و وهم‌آلود خود را در پس پرده دفاع از آزادی و دموکراسی پنهان کند و با این نام و عنوان اصول مسلم حقوق بشر و اخلاق را زیر پا بگذارد، عملی غیر اخلاقی و ناپسند انجام داده است و باید محکوم شود.
I declare unequivocally that whoever speaks of crusades and means to instigate Christians and Muslims or the East and the West into violence, whoever intends to advance illusory goals under the smokescreen of the defense of freedom and democracy, and in so doing tramples undisputed human rights, commits an unethical and reprehensible act and should be condemned.
همچنین بر این نکته تأکید می کنم که هر کس به نام اسلام دست به ترور و جنایت بزند، در نخستین گام و قبل از قتل هر کس معنویت لطیف و انسانی اسلام را نابود کرده است.
Also, I emphasize whoever perpetrates terror and criminal acts in the name of Islam has in the first place violated the humane spirituality of Islam.
به نام دین نمیتوان خشونت ورزید، چنان که به نام حقوق بشر و دموکراسی نمیتوان جهان را جولانگاه نیروهای نظامی خود کرد.
One cannot and ought not engage in violence in the name of any religion, just as one cannot and ought not turn the world into one's military camp in the name of human rights and democracy.
باید با دو چشم وضعیت سیاسی جهان را نقد کرد. محکومیت یک گروه و نادیده گرفتن ظلم و تعدی گروه مقابل نتیجه‌ای جز استمرار دور باطل قتل به خاطر انتقام و انتقام به خاطر قتل ندارد.
We ought to use both eyes to critique the malaise of the world. To condemn one group and to ignore the injustice of the other leads to nothing but cycles of violence, murder for revenge and revenge for murder.
شرق و غرب نیاز به یک بازنگری اساسی در انگیزه ها و انگاره های خود دارد. انگاره ها و انگیزه هایی که از اوهام و ذهنیت های نادرست تاریخی سرچشمه می گیرند.
Both East and West need to reevaluate their perceptions and motivations that originate in their past illusions and false attitudes towards the world.
اگر خواستار تغییر پارادایم حاکم بر جهان امروز هستیم تا مهربانی را به جای خشم، مدارا را به جای خشونت، عدالت را به جای بیداد و همزیستی را به جای ستیز بنشانیم، چاره‌ای جز تلاش برای تغییر نگاه در شرق و غرب و تلاش برای رسیدن به انگیزه ها و انگاره های اخلاقی تر، واقعی تر و انسانی تر نداریم.
If we advocate a change of paradigms governing today's world, we will have to replace compassion for anger, justice for injustice, coexistence for animosity, and tolerance instead of violence. We have no other option than to alter the traditional Eastern and Western viewpoints in order to attain a more realistic, moral, and humane set of principles.
و این کاری است که گفتگوی تمدن‌ها و فرهنگ‌ها در صدد تحقق بخشیدن به آن است.
This is the lofty goal that the project of dialogue among civilization pursues.
غرب و شرق از دیرباز دارای رابطه داد و ستد معنوی و مادی بودند.
The East and the West have been trading material and spiritual assets for long.
ولی امروز با وضعیت اعجاب انگیزی روبرو هستیم که در آن هم شرق و هم غرب مورد تهدید جدی قرار می‌گیرد.
However, today we are faced with an astounding situation that seriously threatens both the East and the West.
امروز در رابطه شرق و غرب شاهد به کارگیری زبانی هستیم که فقط و فقط خاصیت تحریک کنندگی دارد. زبانی که در آن شرق و اخیراً اسلام محور شرارت می شود و غرب و به خصوص آمریکا به طور مطلق محکوم می شود، بی آنکه میان وجه مدنی غرب با صورت استعماری آن در خارج از مرزهای ملی تفکیک به عمل آید.
We witness both in the East and the West an idiom that has no other aim but to antagonize the other. This is the idiom that depicts the East in general and Islam in particular as entities implicated in an axis of evil. Conversely, the West in general and the United States in particular is cruciated as the absolute global villain. No attempt is made to distinguish the West's internal principles and practices of civility from its external practices of domination and colonialism.
مسلمانان باید امروز با تمسک به کتاب آسمانی و سنت دینی خود مبشران صلح و امنیت و آزادی و عدالت باشند.
Muslims should nowadays draw upon their heavenly scriptures and religious traditions to be harbingers of peace, security, liberty, and justice in the world.
و قدرت‌های بزرگ نیز نباید با تحریک گروهی که جز حقد و کینه مسلمانان را در سینه ندارند جنگ تبلیغاتی و نظامی علیه مسلمانان را ادامه دهند.
Great powers, on the other hand, should avoid surrendering to the temptations of the few groups who have nothing but animosity towards Muslims in their hearts and would engage in a propaganda and military war against Muslims.
و خیرخواهان در جهان غرب و جهان اسلام باید بکوشند که در هر دو جهان خشونتگرایان مغرور و متوهم را منزوی کنند و افکار عمومی را از آنان بگیرند.
People of goodwill in both the West and the Islamic world should try to expose those bent on violence and false pride and to banish their ideas from the public arena.
باید در وضعیت ناگوار جهان کنونی بیش از پیش و با مسئولیت شناسی بیشتر تأمل کرد.
We should, in the present critical circumstances of the world, and more than ever before, think about our responsibilities.
انصاف این است که غرب بیش از هر زمان به معنویت و اخلاقی نیاز دارد که مسلماً میتواند آن را در حکمت معنوی مسلمانان و رویکرد دیرپای شرق به آسمان و انسان بیابد.
In all honesty, the West needs spirituality more than ever before in its history. This is the resource that is found in the spiritual tradition of Islam and in the East's timeless intimacy with the heavens.
همچنان که شرق در عرصه حیات اجتماعی خود نیازمند است با جدی گرفتن حق حاکمیت بر سرنوشت خود برای رهایی از عقب ماندگی و تأخیر تاریخی فارغ از شعارها و هیاهوها پیشرفت و دموکراسی را به عنوان مناسب ترین راه زندگی جمعی برگزیند و در مسیر پیشرفت بکوشد.
Conversely, the East needs to overhaul its social life and to escape its backwardness and historical lag, and to accomplish this away from slogans and polemics. It ought to choose democracy as the most fitting method of collective life and progress.
من سالهاست که لزوم تحول در جهان اسلام و نفی وابستگی و استبداد را فریاد میزنم.
I have for years advocated the necessity of the transformation of the Islamic world away from the fetters of dependence and tyranny.
جهان اسلام و خاورمیانه با نقش و جایگاه ممتازی که دارد باید تکلیف خود را نسبت به تجددی که نیاز دارد و بیش از یک قرن است که در وادی تعیین نسبت میان سنت و تجدد سرگردانه است روشن کند.
The Islamic world and the Middle East, given their salient role in the world, have to clarify their responsibility toward modernity. They have postponed or suspended it, wallowing in the limbo between tradition and progress for long enough.
تردیدی نیست که این تجدد نمیتواند عیناً از آنچه در غرب با تاریخ سابقه و شرایط ویژه‌اش تحقق یافته نسخه برداری شود.
There is no doubt that our modernity cannot be copied from the Western model.
دست کم از زمان طرح عقل تاریخی باید همگی به این نتیجه رسیده باشیم که امور انسانی به شدت تحت تأثیر شرایط تاریخی و اجتماعی هستند.
At least since the coining of the term historical reason, we must have become aware of the embeddedness of human life in historical conditions and experiences.
و تعمیم یک امر انسانی که در شرایط ویژه خود تحقق یافته است به جایی که فاقد آن شرایط و تجربه تاریخی است قبل از این که مطلوب یا نامطلوب باشد به لحاظ علمی غلط است.
Generalizing an issue that has been realized in specific circumstances to other places before being deemed desirable or undesirable would be judged scientifically unfounded.
اما این بدون معنا نیست که ما همچنان بر طبل توهمات و عادتهایی بکوبیم که متناسب با زمانهای گذشته است و اقتضاء تاریخ و نیاز مبرم جوامع خود را برای تحول نادیده بگیریم.
However, this does not mean that we can continue to beat on the drums of our own illusions and habits of thought that are in urgent need of revision in view of changing circumstances.
و سنت را نیز که امری انسانی است و قابل تغییر در شکل‌ها و صورت‌هایی که جنبه تاریخی دارند خلاصه کنیم و آن را تقدیس کنیم.
We should not define tradition, which is a human and malleable phenomenon, in historically specific molds or cover it with the patina of sancticity.
درست است که بی تکیه بر سنت نمیتوان انتظار یک تحول سازنده داشت، ولی خود سنت نیز نیاز به نوسازی دارد تا بتواند جوابگوی نیازها و مقتضیات زمان و روزگار باشد.
It is true that one cannot engage in change without a firm grounding in tradition, but the tradition itself is in need of renovation in order to become responsive to the needs and requirements of time.
من بارها گفتم که گفتمان دموکراسی گفتمان بدیل در روزگار ماست.
I have reiterated this frequently. The discourse of democracy is the idiosyncratic and indisputable discourse of our time.
ولی با همان قاطعیت که از این اصل دفاع می‌کنم، ادعای تحمیل سیاست‌های خاص و تبدیل کشورهای جهان به مناطق نفوذ با ادعای بی اساس رهبری جهان را امری فاجعه‌آمیز می‌دانم.
However, we defend it with the same categorical zeal as we denounce the claims to impose specific policies and the attempt to transform the world into regions of influence based upon the baseless claims of world supremacy.
امروز هیچ کس نمیتواند و نباید دموکراسی را که از بدیهیات مورد اقتضای تاریخی روزگار ما برای همه ملت‌هاست نفی و رد کند.
Today, no one should be allowed to denounce or reject democracy, which has proven to be the preeminent historical reality of our world.
اما از یاد نبریم که دموکراسی قبل از این که یک نظریه سیاسی باشد تجربه است اجتماعی که ملتی آن باید آن را با گوشت و پوست خود دریابد.
However, let us not forget that democracy, before being a political doctrine, is a social experience that nations must experience with their flesh and blood.
و بسیار تأسف‌آور است که قدرت‌هایی که خود منشأ تبعیض در جهان و تحقیر انسان در همه عرصه‌ها هستند، ناآگاهانه یا با تجاهل ادعای طرفداری از دموکراسی برای دیگر ملت‌ها کنند و بعد بخواهند اهداف و خواست‌های خود را که نسبتی نیز با دموکراسی ندارد بر ملت‌ها تحمیل کنند.
It is extremely regrettable that the powers themselves that are major originators of discrimination and humiliation of other people, either knowingly or otherwise, arrogate to themselves the right to act as surrogates for the defense of democracy for other nations.
اما این سوء نیت یا سیاست نادرست نباید کشورهایی را که از دیکتاتوری و عقب ماندگی رنج میبرند از ضرورت دموکراسی غافل کند.
However, such mendacious intentions or wrong policies should not be used by countries who suffer from the tyranny and backwardness as a pretext to postpone their inevitable projects of democracy.
دموکراسی نیز مقومات اساسی دارد که در همه جای یکسان است، هرچند که میتواند صورت‌های مختلفی به تناسب شرایط و احوال ملت‌ها و فرهنگ‌ها و تاریخ ملل داشته باشد.
Democracy has universal requirements, although it adjusts itself to various national, cultural, and historical idiosyncrasies.
تنوع دموکراسی برخلاف آنچه مخالفان دموکراسی نتیجه میگیرند تنها ناشی از کثرت تجربه‌های تاریخی و اساسی مختلف است و صد البته که کسی نمیتواند از تنوع تعاریف دموکراسی سوء استفاده کند و احیانا حکومتی را که به اصول شناخته شده و قطعی دموکراسی اعتنا و اعتقاد ندارد جز حکومت‌های دموکراتیک به حساب بیاورد.
The diversities inherent in democracy, contrary to its detractors, are the results of nothing but the multiplicity of historical experiences. Thus, no one should be allowed to misrepresent such diversity and cast undemocratic regimes that violate democracy's core principles as democratic countries.
هیچ دموکراسی وجود ندارد که از مردم و مشارکت مردم و حق بلا منازع ایشان برای تعریف و تعیین سرنوشت خود خالی باشد.
No democracy exists that would deprive people from political participation and from exercising their indisputable right to define and determine their own destiny.
از پریکرس تا ابراهام لینکلن و از لینکلن تا به امروز متفکران و سیاستمداران در باب دموکراسی بحث کردند، ولی از مطالعه همه آرا و نیز تجربه ها می توانیم دریابیم که دموکراسی ها با وجود اختلاف صورت ها دارای جوهر واحدی هستند.
Thinkers from Pericles to Abraham Lincoln to contemporary scholars and politicians have contemplated the concept of democracy. These deliberations teach us that democracy, despite its various manifestations, has a singular, unchanging essence.
هیچ دموکراسی وجود ندارد که از مردم و مشارکت مردم و حق بلا منازع ایشان برای تعریف و تعیین سرنوشت خود خالی باشد. بسط و تعمیق دموکراسی نیز مثل هر امری دیگر که با حیات انسانی مرتبط است، لاجرم مستلزم گذشت زمان و کسب تجربه است.
Expansion and enrichment of democracy too, like any other human institution, requires time and experience.
ملت آمریکا در استقرار نوعی از دموکراسی کار بزرگی کرده است و قانون اساسی آمریکا از اسناد رسمی معتبر و مهم در تجربه دموکراسی در جهان ماست.
The American nation has had a great role in establishing a particular form of democracy. The U.S. Constitution is one of the major documents of the democratic experience in the world history.
ملت آمریکا درد استعمار را نیز کشیده است و یکی از پیشتازان مبارزه با استعمار و فداکاری برای استقلال بوده است.
Americans themselves have suffered under the yoke of colonialism as well and have been among the forerunners of the struggle and sacrifice on the path to independence.
و اگر بتواند خود را از طوفان تبلیغات فریبنده اصحاب قدرت و سیاست رها کند، بهتر از دیگران درک خواهد کرد که با کمال تأسف آنچه در عرصه روابط بین المللی جاری است با معیارهای مورد نظر بنیانگذاران آمریکا و انعکاس یافته در قانون اساسی آن سازگاری ندارد.
If they could free themselves from the seductive torrent of the propaganda generated by the powerful and the politically dexterous, they would be in a relatively privileged position to understand that, regrettably, what has recently transpired in the international arena has little to do with ideals of the United States and its Constitution.
امروز نه تنها باید به دموکراسی در عرصه‌های ملی اندیشید که در عرصه روابط بین المللی نیز به شدت نیازمند آن هستیم.
Today we should heed not only the requirements of democracy on the national level but on an international scale.
در دموکراسی و جامعه مدنی جهانی واحدهای دموکراسی به جای افراد، ملت‌های مستقل و دولت‌های دموکرات برخوردار از حق و حرمت مساوی هستند و در دموکراسی جهانی از خدایگان و برده چنان که امروز در روابط بین الملل مطرح است خبری نخواهد بود.
We are in a dire need of a global democracy and civil society. Units of democracy in this new round of the expanding spiral of democracy are democratic nation states rather than individuals. They enjoy equal rights and respect for others. In the future world democracy, there will be no trace of the master-slave relationships that are evident in today's world.
آیا ملت آمریکا و به خصوص نخبگان خیراندیش آن می توانند با تأمل تازه در گذشته خود و فارغ از فضاسازی ها و وهم پراکنی ها نگاه تازه‌ای به عرصه جهان کنند؟
Can the American nation, and particularly its well-meaning elites, cast a new glance at international affairs informed by their own history and free from the delusional atmosphere created by the powerful?
و حتی گام پیش نهند و سیاستمداران و مجامع بین المللی را که برای صلح و حقوق بشر به وجود آمده‌اند تشویق به استقرار نظاماتی کنند که در آن دموکراسی بین المللی متجلی باشد؟
Can they go even further and take a positive step towards persuading politicians and the international organizations that are meant to protect human rights and peace to inaugurate a new world system in which true international democracy can prosper?
تاریخ به راه خود می رود و منتظر کسانی که دچار تأخیر هستند نمی ماند.
History will march ahead and it will not wait for those who dawdle.
Here I want to end my talk in English, and I apologize in advance for my less than fluent mastery of the language. My last days amongst the hospitable American people have coincided with the 5th anniversary of tragic events of September 11th. These troubled times have seen their fair share of calamities, but the horrific terror unleashed on the Tuesday in September will no doubt come to be known as one of the greatest of the calamities. I was one of the first world leaders to condemn these barbaric and savage acts. As a human, as a Muslim, and as an Iranian, I stand before you to once again express my deepest sympathy with the families of the victims and with all the great American people. Let us wish for a world devoid of violence and anger, and instead blessed with compassion and peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and I would say a special thanks to President Khatami for making his remarks brief, passing out the full text that we can read so that we have an opportunity for now exchange. Since this is one of the first forums of the year, particularly for newcomers, let me state several traditions and ground rules. In contrast to most venues in the US where speakers make a presentation and leave, a central value of this forum for this educational institution is the opportunity for students and faculty to pose unfiltered questions, including challenging questions, and to hear speakers respond. Since many people here, as you can see already from the lineup at the various microphones, have questions to ask, I want to request especially that you be respectful of your fellow students and faculty members in putting your questions succinctly. You're welcome to ask any question you choose, and you can even provide a little bit of context, but the rule says no more than one question per customer, and the total event cannot take more than 60 seconds. So the ideal question is brief and ends with a question mark. And you should please introduce yourself before you ask your question. We'll go around the microphones, and we'll start here with this gentleman.
Hi, my name is Amin Hashimi. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. My question is regarding sort of the one of the international issues that defines Iran. To the extent that Israel is sort of a destabilizing country in the region, I was wondering what you thought or how you thought that could potentially affect acts of terrorism in the United States. And then to that effect, how that sort of impacts Iran's policy and your view on the U.S.'s unconditional support of Israel.
His Excellency said that your question must be brief, not my answer.
these brief answers as well, since you can see there's about 100 people that would love to ask a question. Thank you.
امروز خیلی عوامل هستند که امنیت رو در دنیا به خطر میندازند.
Today there are many conditions, there are many situations which destabilize the world.
بعضی دولت‌ها و بعضی گروه‌ها.
Some governments and some groups.
اما متاسفانه این سیکل باطل خشونت که با خشونت جواب داده میشه روز به روز جنبه امنیت دنیا رو کمتر میکنه.
And this cycle of violence that means violence is responded to with violence has decreased the security of the whole world.
مطمئناً ما به عنوان کشورهای شرقی و اسلامی با بسیاری از سیاست‌هایی که در اسرائیل اعمال میشه موافق نیستیم.
Obviously, we as Eastern and Islamic countries are not in favor of many of the policies that exist in Israel.
از جمله این که هیچ یک از قطعنامه‌های شورای امنیت از سوی اسرائیل مورد قبول یا مورد اجرا قرار نگرفته.
An example of this is that none of the UN resolutions against Israel have been implemented.
نمونه آن میلیون‌ها انسانی آواره‌ای هستند که از خانه کاشانه‌شون رفتند، در کمپ به دنیا میان، در کمپ رشد میکنن و در کمپ میمیرن و علیرغم تصویب و تایید جامعه بین المللی حق بازگشت به وطن خودشون را ندارند.
Another example of this is the millions of refugees who live in camps. They are born there and eventually die there, and they do not have the right to return to their homes, even though the international community gives them that right.
این خشونت به خشونت متقابل می انجامد.
This sort of violence leads to further violence.
و خوب است که ما در ارزیابی خشونت‌ها به ریشه خشونت‌ها توجه بکنیم.
In assessing types of violence, we should look at their root causes.
و بدانیم که خشونت هم در شکل جنگش هم در شکل تروریسمش برای همه انسان‌ها در شرق و غرب خطرناک.
And we should appreciate that violence, whether in the form of war or in the form of terrorism, will be dangerous for the entire world.
ما انتظار داشته و داریم که آمریکا با توجه به قدرت و اعتباری که دارد در خاورمیانه نسبت به اطراف قضیه سیاستی عادلانه و بی‌طرفانه داشته باشه تا ما امیدوار باشیم به اینکه صلحی پایدار که بر پایه عدالت است زودتر در منطقه ما محقق بشود.
Due to America's power and influence in the region, we hope that it will adopt a more thorough policy towards the Middle East so that we can hope for a lasting peace in the region.
تا زمانی که بخشی از نیروهای موجود منطقه احساس بکنند که آمریکا فقط طرف یک جانب را میگیره و به هر صورت حمایت میکنه، آمریکا میانجی خوبی در حل مشکلات منطقه ما نخواهد بود.
So long as the forces in the region believe that America is biased towards one of the parties, America cannot act as an appropriate mediator for solving the problem.
Thank you. I think if I take the chance from the podium to follow up, I think on Israel, the question was clear and answer was clear. But the question I think most Americans have in the back of their mind maybe seem a little more pointed, which is your successor, Ahmadinejad's proposal to wipe Israel off the map. And when I listened to the 60 Minutes interview a couple of weeks ago in which Mike Wallace asked Ahmadinejad about this comment, I couldn't tell what his answer said. It seemed to say blah, blah, blah. But I couldn't tell what he meant. So I would ask specifically, do you agree with the proposition that the world would be better off if Israel were wiped off the map.
بنده هیچ وقت آرزوی ما به هیچ کس و هیچ ملتی از عرصه حیات اجتماعی نکردم.
I have never wanted the elimination of any person or nation from the international sphere.
اما از یاد نبریم که 50 سال است که هم در تئوری و هم در عمل ملتی به نام ملت فلسطین نفی شده است.
But we must not forget that for the last 50 years, both in theory and in practice, a nation by the name of Palestine has been eliminated from the map.
تا ما به مرگ بیاندیشیم به مرگ و محو بیاندیشیم برای مشکلات راه حلی پیدا نمی‌کنیم.
So long as we are thinking of killing and eliminating, we will not find a solution for our problems.
فکر نکنیم که چگونه باید مرد. فکر بکنیم که چگونه با هم می‌توانیم زندگی همزیستی و عادلانه‌ای داشته باشیم.
We should not be thinking of how we can kill, rather we should be thinking of how we can live and coexist together.
Thank you. Here, this gentleman, and please introduce yourself.
Mr. President, my name is Jack Gray. I'm from Boston. I'm a journalist. I'm here today as just an ordinary American. On the eve of the September 11th attacks, a lot of Americans are wondering why the United States has not captured Osama bin Laden yet. Do you personally hope that the United States and its allies captures Osama bin Laden?
It's a clear question, and it ends with a question mark.
همه ما خواستاریم که خشونتگرایان، جنگ افروزان و تروریست ها دستشون از اقدامات جنایتبار کوتاه بشه.
It is our hope that all terrorists, warmongers, and those who promote violence can no longer conduct their activities.
من نسبت به آقایی که نامشون رو بردید از این جهت بیشتر عصبانی هستم که دو جنایت توسط آنها صورت میگیره. یکی اصل جنایت خشونت و ترور و جنایت دوم این که به نام اسلامی صورت میگیره که منادی صلح و محبت و عدالت هست.
The person you named, Osama bin Laden, I especially have my problems with him because he does two injustices. The first is the crimes that he conducts, and the second is that he does this in the name of Islam, a religion that is meant to be the harbinger of peace and justice.
میدونید که دولت من مخالف نحوه برخورد با مسائل افغانستان و عراق بود، در عین حالی که احساس میکرد که در این دو کشور دو دشمن بزرگ او وجود دارند و از اینکه اونها در عرصه نباشند خوشنود میشد.
As you may know, when my government was in opposition to the way in which Afghanistan and Iraq were dealt with, while it was in our best interest to have our two biggest enemies removed from these countries.
راه‌های دیگری هم داشت که با حکومت‌های جباری مثل حکومت صدام و نیز گروه‌های تروریست واپسگرا مبارزه کرد بدون اینکه هزینه‌هایی که امروز داریم می‌پردازیم و به خصوص ملت آمریکا داره می‌پردازه بپردازیم.
There were other ways in which we could have battled dictatorial regimes like Saddam and terrorists and the Taliban at far less cost, especially to the American people.
هدف اشغال نظامی افغانستان و عراق از بین بردن تروریسم و مبارزه با تروریست ها و خشونتگرایان بود.
The objective of occupying Afghanistan and Iraq were to destroy the terrorists.
امروز اون آقایی که نامش بردید هنوز هست.
Today, the person you mentioned is still around.
و با کمال تأسف عراق هم مبدل شده است به کانونی از خشونت و ترور.
And unfortunately, Iraq has turned into a focal point for violence and terrorists.
و نه تنها مردم عراق که با کمال تأسف فرزندان آمریکا و فرزندان گروه‌هایی که در اونجا حضور دارند برای اون اهدافی که داشتن نیز دارن قربانی میشن.
And unfortunately now, not only the Iraqis, but many of the American children, as well as the people who have been there for humanitarian efforts, are losing their lives over this.
یه جمله‌ای داشتم که اعمال معیارهای دوگانه و نیز روش‌های درست ما را به این وضعیت ناگوار میرساند، قتل و کشتار برای انتقام و انتقام برای کشتار، و این دور باطلی است که آتش آن دامن شرق و غرب و شمال و جنوب رو گرفته و امیدوارم که با تدبیر بیشتر و با چاره اندیشی بهتر بتوانیم راهکارهای بهتری برای مبارزه با تروریسم، برای مبارزه با خشونت و برای استقرار همزیستی و تفاهم پیدا بکنیم.
In my speech, I had a sentence that said that practicing double standards will lead to a cycle of violence, which results in murder for revenge and revenge for murder. And I am hoping that we can look to different ways of achieving our objectives so they do not lead to further violence.
Gentleman here, please.
Thank you. My name is Alex Burns. I'm from New York City. I'm a student at the college. A few days ago, President Ahmadinejad announced his intention to identify and remove secular and liberal professors from Iranian universities. What is your reaction to this development, and is this consistent with your definition of tolerance?
من نمیدونم که چه تلقی بوده و چه سخنی گفته شده و فکر نمی کنم که برنامه‌ای وجود داشته باشه که دانشگاه‌های ایران از استادان و دانشمندانی که سخت به اونا نیاز داریم محروم بشود و ما نه تنها باید از استادان خودمون استفاده بکنیم، بلکه باید بتوانیم حتی از کشورهای دیگر و کشورهایی که حتی مسلمان نیستند استادها و پژوهشگران را بیاوریم، چرا که معتقدیم ما باید به سرعت پیشرفت بکنیم، امکاناتش هم داریم، پیشرفت هم بر علم و پژوهش استوار هست و این استادان و دانشمندان هستند که می توانند زمینه‌های پیشرفت رو فراهم بکنند. ایران به همه استادانش، به همه دانشمندانش نیاز داره و معتقدم با توجه به نیازها و برنامه‌های بلندی که داره، به خصوص چشمانداز 20 ساله، هنوز استادایی که هستن خیلی هم کم هست، ما نیاز به استادان بیشتری هم داریم.
I don't believe that what has happened is correct, as Iran is in dire need of as many professors as it can get, and I believe that Iran should extend its welcome to professors from different countries and even non-Islamic and secular countries because of our plans for development and advancement, especially our 20-year development plan. Our professors are too few to achieve our goals, so we are looking for greater advancements in science and technology, and this can only be possible with getting more and more professors.
Gentleman here, please.
Mr. Khatami, thank you for coming. My name is Jared Zafran. I'm a sophomore at the college. You characterize Zionists as having a violent nature, that they're naturally more violent. So my question is, as a Jew and a supporter of Israel, possibly you'd call me a Zionist, do you honestly think that I'm more aggressive or violent than the average audience member here?
خوشبختانه من در اینجا اعلام براءت از مسلمانایی هم که خشونت میکنن کردم.
Luckily, here I've already distanced myself from even the Muslims who claim to be violent.
من با خشونت مخالف.
I am against violence.
یهودی یا مسلمان یا مسیحی فرقی نمیکنه.
It doesn't matter if the person is a Jew, a Muslim, or a Christian.
همچنین که من دوستان خیلی خوبی در میان یهودیان دارم.
As I have very good friends among the Jews.
و در گفتگوی مرکز گفتگوی تمدن‌ها در ژنو مسیحیان، مسلمان‌ها و یهودی‌ها در کنار همدیگه داریم فعالیت می‌کنیم.
And at my center for a dialogue among civilization in Geneva, we have Muslims, Christians, and Jews working alongside each other.
بذارید همه با هم خشونت رو محکوم بکنیم، دامن پاک یهودیت، اسلام، مسیحیت و سایر ادیان رو از خشونت پاک نگه بداریم.
Let us all condemn violence and keep the pure religions of Islam, Judaism, and Christianity pure from violence.
و همه با هم کمک بکنیم که جهان عاری از خشونت و برخوردار از صلح و همزیستی داشته باشیم.
And we should all strive together to achieve a world in which we can all coexist free from violence.
I will just add that he doesn't look more violent than most of the Harvard sophomores I know. Though I don't know this gentleman. The lady here is next, please.
Hi, I'm Danielle Sassoon. I'm a junior at the college. Sorry. You spoke at length about respecting state sovereignty and the process of democratization, but yet, as former president of Iran, you refused to even recognize the sovereignty of the Jewish and democratic state of Israel. Are you going to employ a double standard, which you've been condemning, by not condemning the violence of Palestinian terrorists who are choosing terror over finding a peaceful solution?
من دلم میخواد که مردم کشورها و ملتها در کنار همزیستی مسالمت آمیز داشته باشند.
I would want the people and nations to be able to coexist peacefully.
یهودیان هم حق دارند که زندگی داشته باشند و بر سرنوشت خودشون حاکم باشند.
The Jews also have a right to live in peace and control their destinies.
اما نه مسلمان حق دارد که یهودی رو از حق خودش محروم بکنه و نه یهودی حق داره که مسلمان رو از حق خودش محروم بکنه.
But as a Muslim man is not allowed to prevent a Jew from achieving their destiny, the Jews are not allowed to prevent the Muslims from achieving their destinies either.
خدا رحم کرد که من در اینجا از کسانی که از اسلام سوء استفاده میکنن و به نام اسلام ترور و خشونت میکنن محکوم کردم تا شما یادتون باشه که من هر کس خشونت میکنه محکومش میکنم.
Luckily, I made a point of condemning those who use Islam to promote violence and conduct violent acts, so that you can always remember that it is against this violence, that it is this violence that I am against.
خبرنگاری از من پرسید که جوانانی در میان مسلمانان با انتحار، با کشتن خود دیگران را به کشتن میدن و اینجور تبلیغ میشه که با این کارشون به بهشت میرن. نظر شما چی؟
A journalist asked me that there are some young Muslims who do suicide bombings, and it is advertised that by doing so they will be going to heaven, and they asked me my opinion.
جواب من این بود کسانی که برای دیگران جهنم میآفرینند هیچگاه به بهشت نخواهند رفت.
My answer was those who put others through hell will never go to heaven.
Gentleman here on the right.
My name is Yves Levy. I'm a Wexner Fellow student of this institute, and I come from Israel. My English is not that polished as others in this room, so I'll read from my writing. You talk about the need for compassion, justice, and human rights. I would like to ask you to show us your personal compassion and sense of justice by sharing with us your knowledge of the whereabouts and fates of Israeli pilot Ron Arad. Or maybe just a short answer, if to the best of your knowledge, he is alive or dead, so his wife and child could start the mourning process. Thank you.
اسم اون خلبان آراد بود. رون آراد بود.
The name of that pilot was Ron Arad.
و منم متأثرم که برای سالیان دراز خبری نیست. طبعا من هم خبر ندارم کجاست و مطمئن باشید که اگر میدانستم و امکان داشت برام حتما ترتیب بازگشت او رو به خانواده‌اش میدادم.
As you said, regrettably, no one knows his whereabouts, and I too don't know where he is. But you should be assured that if I did know where he was, I would definitely put him and reunite him with his family.
همچنان که 20 سال 4 نفر از دیپلمات‌های ما ناپدید شدند و هرچه در لبنان و در قسمتی که در اختیار نیروهایی بود که با اسرائیل هم پیمان بودند و هم کار میکردند ناپدید شدند و 20 سال تلاش ما چه به صورت گروهی چه به صورت دولت به نتیجه نرسید که اصلا از سرنوشت اونها آگاه بشیم. هیچ چیز بدتر از این نیست که انسانهایی بلا تکلیف باشند و خانواده‌هاشون منتظرشون باشند، چه یهودی باشه چه مسلمان، و امیدوارم که ما در دنیا شاهد چنین فجایعی نباشیم و امیدوارم که هم رون آراد و هم 4 دیپلمات ما هر چه زودتر به خانه‌هاشون برگردن.
I should also mention that for 20 years, 4 Iranian diplomats who were in Lebanon amongst the Lebanese population that were cooperating with Israel have disappeared, and all our efforts to try to find them or find information about them have been in vain. And I think there's nothing worse than not knowing what has happened to your loved ones, and whether they are Jewish or Muslims. And my desire is that Ron Arad, as well as those 4 Iranian diplomats, could be reunited with their families as soon as possible.
Okay. Gentleman here, please.
President Khatami, welcome to Boston. My name is Amir Soltani, Sheikh al-Islami, and I studied Islamic history here with Professor Mottahedeh, though he may not want to claim me as a student now. And I also hope that you'll have a chance to visit Walden Pond, where Thoreau, who was a great practitioner of civil disobedience and a Harvard graduate, lived. My question to you is the following. Putting aside theory, and I congratulate you and thank you as an Iranian for all that you've said about the importance of love and life. putting aside theory, I have a friend in Montreal named Stefan Hashemi. And his mother was the Canadian journalist, I'm sure you know, Zahra Kazemi, who died while under custody in Evin prison. And for the past 2-3 years, I've been with him, and it has been a horrific, traumatic, unbearable struggle for him, as for Iran's Baha'i, as for many, many Iranians, to sort of get justice, what you have been standing for in life, which is also what you have always spoken about. And I just don't, when you speak about double standards, of course I hear you as an Iranian. We know what Americans do. We know what Israelis do. We know what we ourselves do. We know this stuff. But there's things that are within our power, and there are things that are not. Mrs. Kazemi is buried in our name. She's buried in the name of my religion. She's buried in the name of my Iran, in the land where my grandfathers are buried. She's buried in the name of my prophet. And I don't have the power to do anything about this because I do not know who to turn to say no. Never in our tradition, at least in the tradition of my family, was it acceptable for a woman to be raped, to be beaten, to be buried under the ground, and then under the ground in which all the martyrs supposedly are buried in their memory, and then to turn around and say, sorry, her executioners, this Mr. Mortazavi or whatever his name is, has the right to go and represent, again, my country and my prophet on the Human Rights Council of the United Nations. I cannot accept that. And when you, who are the president, who are the man whose flesh and blood is the shield of our women and daughters and children, speak about how that has to be paid with our flesh and blood, I ask myself, when?
Thank you.
And what should I tell Stefan when I go to see him in Montreal? Sorry.
اولا معلوم شد ایرانی‌ها فقط باهوش نیستن، سخنرانای خیلی خوبی هم هستن.
First of all, what became clear is that Iranians are not only smart, but they are also very good speech makers.
تشکر میکنم از شما.
I thank you.
ببینید در مورد خانم زهرا کاظمی بنده به عنوان رئیس جمهور و دولت من به عنوان بخشی از حکومت رسما موضع گرفت و ایستاد و خواستار این شد که این مسئله پیگیری بشه و با نحوه برخورد با ایشان و نحوه برخوردهای بعدی با اون اعتراض کرد که مسئلهش در همه رسانه ها اونام اومد.
In regards to Zahra Kazemi, my role in the government as the head of the executive branch, we had an official position on the matter, and we stood by it, and we tried to find those responsible, and we objected seriously to Zahra Kazemi's treatment, and you can follow up the details of that in the media as it was reported widely.
خب قوه قضاییه هم برای خودش استدلالایی داشت که در عینی که احترام براشون میذارم ما در این زمین اختلاف نظرم داشتیم.
The judiciary had its own justifications, and while I must respect them, they were not in conformity to our views.
البته من با شجاعت شما نسبت قتل به کسی نمیدم که مشخص کنم قاتل خانم زهرا کاظمی کی بوده.
But I'm not as bold as you to identify the murderer and executioner of Zahra Kazemi.
ولی به هر حال معتقدم که با این مسئله میشد و میبایست بهتر از این برخورد بشه.
But I still believe that this situation could have and should have been dealt with in a more pleasant manner.
شاید اگر دوستان ما بازماندگان خانم زهرا کاظمی هم مسئله رو به این صورت سیاسی نکرده بودند و تبدیلش نکرده بودند به یک کار تبلیغاتی خیلی تند علیه ایران، مسئله بهتر و بیشتر حل میشد.
And maybe if the relatives of Zahra Kazemi had not made this into such a big political issue, it could have been resolved a lot easier and a lot more to their liking.
به هر حال ما مسیر دموکراسی رو تازه شروع کردیم.
Well, we have started our path to democracy just recently.
مطمئناً میشه ایرادها و عیب‌هایی نسبت به آنچه که در ایران میگذره گرفت.
I'm sure you can find many flaws and find many weak points in the affairs that take place in Iran.
ولی اولاً نوعی دیگر از این اشکال یا نظیر این اشکال در جاهای دیگر میشه ببینیم.
But you can also find flaws similar to these in other places in the world.
آنچه که مهم است دموکراسی یک پروسه است.
What is important is that we should realize that democracy is a process.
ما باید با حوصله به صورتی پیش بریم که بتوانیم با کمترین هزینه بیشترین دستاورد رو داشته باشیم، خیلی هم عجله نداشته باشیم، فقط سعی بکنیم که جهت به سوی استقرار جامع و کامل دموکراسی گم نشود.
And if we have patience, we must have patience and pursue democracy gradually. And if the pace is at times slow, we must just make sure that we do not lose the correct path and always move in that direction.
حالا که کاری نیستم حاضرم مطالب شما را با دقت به مسئولان زیررأس منتقل کنم.
And now that I don't have any official responsibilities, I would be happy to listen in great detail to your concerns and let those responsible know.
Gentleman in the left loge, please.
Hi, my name is Richard Krumholtz. I'm a senior at the college. Today you claim to denounce terrorism and violence in all forms, yet your nation, under your presidency, gave hundreds of millions of dollars in funding and weapons to terrorist organizations. You've said, "We love Hezbollah," a killer of innocent women and children. Do you still feel that way today?
واقعا شما مطمئنید که من صدها میلیون دلار به تروریستا کمک کردم؟ از کجا میگی؟ سندتون رو بدید.
Are you really sure that I gave hundreds of millions of dollars in aid to terrorist organizations?
نه، شما مطمئن باشید که چنین چیزی اتفاق نیفتاده و نخواهد افتاد.
No, you should. I assure you that this has not happened and will not happen.
البته سازمان ملل هم رو تعریفی که کرده است میان کسانی که برای مبارزه با اشغال سرزمینشون یا تعدی به کشورشون مبارزه میکنن با کسانی که آدم میکشن و گروه‌هایی دارن که فقط برای آدم کشی است و تروریستن فرق میگذاره.
And even the United Nations has given a description that differentiates between those who are striving for the territorial integrity of their country as opposed to those groups that have their only objective is to kill people.
امروز مقاومتی که فرانسوی‌ها در برابر اشغال آلمان‌ها کردن نه تنها کسی محکوم نمی‌کنه، به شدت مورد حمایت قرار میده و دهها و صدها فیلم قوی برای تأیید و تمجید اون ساخته شده است.
Today, today the resistance that the French showed in the face of the German attack is not only not condemned, but it is also highly praised, and there are many films and movies made about it.
ما دولت‌هایی داریم که اعلام میکنن فلان حکومت را برمیندازیم یا فلان افراد را ترور میکنیم و ترور میکنن.
We have governments who explicitly say that we will destroy such and such regime, or we will assassinate so and actually do it.
گروه‌های وحشی هم داریم که هواپیما را برمی‌دارن و هواپیما را تبدیل می‌کنن با انسان‌هاش به بمب انفجاری و می‌زنن به یک ساختمانی که هزاران نفر بیگناه در او هستند و در یک لحظه جهنم سوزان ایجاد می‌کنن.
And we also have barbaric groups that take airplanes and with its passengers and turn it into a bomb, and in a second wreak havoc and turn the world into a burning hell.
اینا مصداقای تروریسم که باید به شدت اونها رو محکوم بکنیم و در مقابلش بایستیم.
These are examples of terrorism, and we must severely condemn this and resist it.
و ملت ایران که 8 سال در مقابل تجاوز وحشیانه صدام که خیلی هم مورد حمایت بسیاری از قدرت‌ها بود ایستاد، هیچ کس او را تروریست نمیدونه، بلکه اون مقاومت را یک مقاومت بسیار انسانی و شجاعانه و قهرمانانه میدونن.
And Iran has withstood 8 years of attack, of barbaric attack at the hands of Saddam Hussein in Iraq, and today no one considers that to be terrorism, rather they consider it to be a heroic resistance.
اما حزب الله
But now turning to Hezbollah.
بعضی نسبت‌ها به حزب الله داده شده است که فلان کارهایی انجام دادن که اگر هم انجام شده باشه کارهای درستی نیست و خود اونا انکار میکنن که چنین کارهایی انجام ندادن.
And there are some actions that are that people hold Hezbollah accountable for, and Hezbollah itself does not claim responsibility for that, and if these actions have been done by them, we should condemn.
از 10 سال پیش به این طرف حتی یک مورد اتهام هم نتوانستند به حزب الله بزنن که عملی انجام داده که از نظر حتی خود غربی ها اون عمل تروریستی به حساب میاد.
But for the past 10 years, they have not proven an action that Hezbollah has committed that falls under the definition of terrorism.
و حزب الله امروز به عنوان مظهر مقاومت مردم لبنان یک گروه عربی است.
And Hezbollah today is a symbol of Lebanese resistance and is an Arabic group.
اگر ما هم کمک میکنیم کمک همون معنوی است. این ادعا که میشه صدها دلار، دهها دلار و صدها میلیون دلار و دهها میلیون دلار و حتی صدها دلار و دهها دلار هم ادعاهای بی سند و بی مدرکی است که می شود تا توجیه بشود بعضی کارهایی که نسبت به ایران یا دیگران میخوان انجام بدن.
And if we support Hezbollah, it is only spiritual support, and this claim that we give hundreds of millions of dollars or even tens of millions or even hundreds of dollars is a baseless claim, and there is no document to prove this.
یک نمونه برای شما عرض بکنم برای اینکه معلوم بشود حزب الله یک نیروی مقاومت لبنانی عربی است و برای تمامیت ارضی عرب و برای لبنان و برای همه لبنان مقاومت میکنه و خودش هم اعلام کرده تا وقتی که اشغال هست، همچنان که مزارع شبا الان در اشغال هست، و تا وقتی که تهدید هست این مقاومت به این صورت میمونه. در عین حال حزب الله کاملا در فعالیت‌های مدنی، در انتخابات، در مجلس، در دولت حضور داره، اما یک نمونه ای از این که ایشون مقاومت لبنانی است و نه یه حرکت صرف شیعی و طائفی، یک نمونه را خدمتتون عرض میکنم.
And as an example, so you can better understand why Hezbollah is a Arabic resistance movement for the territorial integrity of Lebanon, and it only has the right to exist when occupation is still around. I'll give you that example.
در جنگ اخیر که فاجعه‌های بزرگی هم به بار آورد و بسیار بیگناهان کشته شدند، حزب الله اعلام کرد که اگر اسرائیل بیروت را بزند من تل آویو را خواهم زد.
In the recent war, where a lot of destruction, there was a lot of destruction, a lot of innocents killed, Hezbollah stated that if Israel bombs Beirut, I will bomb Tel Aviv.
و این در حالی بود که جنوب لبنان که محل استقرار حزب الله و شیعیان است دائما توسط بمب افکن‌های اسرائیل داشت بمباران میشد.
And this is while the southern part of Lebanon, which is occupied by many of the Hezbollah and Shiite forces, was being constantly bombed.
و به خاطر اون تل آویو رو با موشکاشون نزدن.
But for this they did not strike Tel Aviv.
و معلوم شد که مراد او از این که بیروت را بزند محل استقرار مسیحیان و سنیان است که تا اون روز مورد تجاوز و حمله قرار نگرفته بود.
And when they made a point of saying Beirut, they meant where the Christians and Sunni Muslims were living, and that they had not been drawn into the conflict until then.
به هر حال هر کس خشونت بکنه و ترور بکنه باید محکوم بشه، چه دولت باشه چه گروه‌ها باشن.
On any hand, any group that does terrorist activities must be condemned, whether it's a government or a group.
اما مقاومت مشروع رو سعی بکنیم که منصفانه تروریسم ندونیم.
But we should be fair and not write off justified resistance as terrorism.
یعنی سعی بکنیم وقتی که مطالبی رو میگیم مطالب مستند باشه و ادعایی نباشه.
And we should also try when we are saying things to have proof and not merely allegations.
Each one of these topics invites a long discussion, and one that I hope we'll have an opportunity for at some other point, but this lady has been waiting patiently, so please.
My name is Amy Zelser. I'm a senior at the college as well. Iran has signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which means that it agrees to international inspection of development sites. So if Iran has no dishonorable intentions vis-a-vis its development of nuclear energy and enrichment of uranium, why then is it not allowing inspectors of the International Atomic Energy Agency to inspect its sites?
ایران عضو NPT است همونطور که گفتید.
As you've said, Iran is a member of the NPT.
و کاملا بازرسان آژانس اتمی طبق چارچوبای NPT هم بازرسی میکنن هم میتونن بکنن.
And the inspectors, the agencies, the IAEA's inspectors have conducted inspections and will be free to do so in the future.
اون چی که دچار وقفه شده است اون است که در زمان من داوطلبانه توجه بفرمایید داوطلبانه پذیرفته شد که پروتکل الحاقی با اینکه در ایران تصویب نشده و ظاهرا هنوز آمریکا هم تصویب نکرده اجرا بشود. یعنی بالاتر از اون وظیفه‌ای که ما طبق NPT داشتیم حاضر شدیم که بدون تصویب و امضای پروتکل الحاقی به بازرسان انرژی اتمی اجازه بدیم که هر جایی میخوان بازرسی بکنن و هر گونه که میخوان بازرسی بکنن.
What has changed is that during my presidency we had voluntarily, and I'd like to stress this, voluntarily implemented the additional protocol to the NPT, and many countries have not implemented this additional protocol, and as far as I know, America even hasn't. And that additional protocol allowed for snap inspections and inspections that were of a different nature and we have seized the voluntary implementation of that.
با کمال تأسف به خاطر سوء تفاهماتی که در طی یک سال گذشته پیش آمد و تصمیم گرفته شد این عمل داوطلبانه انجام نشود، بازرسی هایی که طبق پروتکل الحاقی هست انجام نمیگیره، طبق NPT کاملا انجام میگیره. باز هم هنوز بخش های از اون بازرسی هایی که طبق NPT هست پروتکل الحاقی هست، با اینکه ایران گفته دیگه من پایبنده به اون تعهد داوطلبانه نیستم، بازم انجام میگیره. بنابراین طبق NPT تمام بازرسی ها انجام میگیره، ایران وظایف خودش انجام میده. پروتکل الحاقی هم امضا نشده و ایران موظف نیست. خود آژانس جامعه بین المللی هم اعتراف کرده که داوطلبانه است. اما بنده معتقدم که باید در ورای احساسات و تند کردن زمینه طرفین قضیه ایران و دیگران به مذاکره بنشینن و در جریان مذاکره به صورت مطلوبی مشکل به صورتی حل بشود که هم حق ایران به رسمیت شناخته بشه و هم ایران هم قبول داره که در طی مذاکره به توافق برسد که پروتکل الحاقی را از تصویب مجلس بگذرونه و تمام اون طبق وظیفه قانونیش بهش تن بده.
Yes, but unfortunately, during the past years and the misunderstandings that were created between the negotiating parties, Iran decided not to implement the additional protocol, but the inspections under the NPT are still going on in complete force, and even sections of the additional protocol are still being implemented in Iran. But I believe that if we start negotiations again, Iran is willing to sign the additional protocol, so it becomes its international legal obligation, and after it's been ratified by the Iranian parliament.
So let me suggest what the president is prepared to stay. We're at the end of the time, but he says that he might give us 5 more minutes. And so I'm going to ask, I apologize, we're not going to get all the questions asked, but we'll ask this gentleman, and this lady to put your question, and then we'll let him respond to all 3 together. So please, but introduce yourself, yes?
Hi, my name is Ryan Taney. I'm a sophomore at the college here. I'm from Boca Raton, Florida. Your speech today was entitled Ethics of Tolerance in an Age of Violence. However, recently in your country, it doesn't seem like there have been ethics of tolerance, as your president, Mohammad Khatami, and the government have actually made a contest whereby people would submit art and cartoons that made a mockery of the Holocaust and the murder of 12 million people. How do you respond to this, and where is your compassion?
My name's Eric. I'm a senior at the college. During your remarks, you repeatedly condemned Muslims.
Excuse me, say your name again?
Eric Fish?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so you repeatedly condemned Muslims who commit violence in the name of their religion. In line with that sentiment, I'm wondering why the government of Iran executes gay people and whether you believe they should continue to.
There's at a rapid pace, but good. The question's clear, but okay. Good. Please, and the final question is this lady. Yes?
Hi, my name is Ashley Stover. I'm a student at the Kennedy School of Government. Our 2 nations are the United States and Iran. We're at impasse over a nuclear issue. I was wondering, there have been many policy recommendations floating around, and one is whether Iran wants a grand bargain of types to normalize relations with the United States. Do you think this is a way in order for our 2 countries to come to an agreement over a nuclear issue, and if not, what would be your policy recommendation?
Thank you. متشکرم. آنچه که من در ایران شنیدم از مطالبی که آقای رئیس جمهور گفتن راجع به هولوکاست که اگر هولوکاست هم درست هست چرا تاوانش رو باید فلسطینی‌ها بدن؟ این به معنی نفی مطلق هولوکاست نبود، سوال درباره اون بود. اما بنده هولوکاست رو از جنایات بزرگ هیتلر و صهیونیست‌ها میدونم و بارهام گفتم، گرچه منم معتقدم که نباید هولوکاست وسیله‌ای بشود که به دیگران ستم کرد. باید ستم دیدگان رو جبران کرد، ستمی که بر اونها شده است. این که نمایشگاه گذاشته بشود که منم نمیدونم اصلا در چه حد و چه سطحی است. در ایران مثل خود آمریکا جای دیگه البته با تفاوت‌هایی یک نوع آزادی‌هایی وجود داره. علیه بندم که رئیس جمهور بودم اعتراض می‌شد و این به معنی نظر و به اصطلاح سیاست نظام جمهوری اسلامی و دولت جمهوری اسلامی نیست و معتقدم هستم که در هولوکاست یهودیان فراوانی کشته شدن، غیر یهودی هم کشته شدن. یک حرکت نجات پرستانه بود. من پیرو دینی هستم که اگر یک نفر بیگناه کشته شود به منزله این است که همه انسان ها کشته شدن. حتی اگر یک یهودی یا غیر یهودی هم کشته شده باشد باید محکوم بشود، در حالی که خیلی بیش از اینا کشته شدن.
When I was in Iran, I heard Ahmadinejad make a comment that it said that the Holocaust, if the Holocaust had come to pass, it was done at the hands of the Europeans, and this was actually in a way admitting that the Holocaust, that he does believe in the Holocaust. And I believe that the Holocaust was a great human tragedy, and I condemn all Hitler's actions. But I also condemn if the Holocaust will be used as a tool to persecute other peoples. I think that if injustice has been done to a people, the way to answer it is to trying to relieve that injustice, not by doing injustice to other people. In regards to the exhibition, I'm not aware to what extent that the exhibition has been received in Iran, but as you may know, in Iran there are some freedoms as there are here, and even when I was president, there was a lot of protests against me, and this freedom of expression exists in this way in Iran as well. But you cannot take this as the official policy. This exhibition cannot be taken as the official policy of the Islamic Republic of Iran's government as a whole. And my opinion on the Holocaust is that I come from a religion that if a single person is killed, it's like entire humanity is killed. So I strongly condemn the Holocaust because many Jewish and non-Jewish people were killed during the Holocaust, as it was a racist act.
مثلا سوال دومی که کردن که من خشونت را محکوم کردم و چگونه است که به نام اسلام خشونت میشه، از جمله این که برای لواط مجازات اعدام در نظر گرفتن، یه توضیحی بدم خدمت دوست.
Well, he was just repeating the question that how you said that violence is You said that I oppose violence being done in the name of Islam, and with this view, why are gay people executed in Iran?
اینجا دانشگاه است، محل علم، یه خورده علمی صحبت کنیم.
We are at a university, the cradle of science, so we can speak a bit scientifically.
در همه ادیان، در همه این سیستم ها، در همه نظام ها مجازات وجود داره. مجازات به خودی خود خشونت نیست.
In all schools of thought and in all religions, there is punishment, and punishment is not a form of violence.
مجازات در واقع خودش درمان یک نوع خشونت و انحراف در جامعه است که اگرم نباشه اصلا جامعه نمیتونه استقرار پیدا بکنه.
Punishment is seen as a response to violence or deviance in society, and if there is no punishment in a society cannot run effectively.
این که آیا مجازات اعدام مجازات منصفانه‌ای هست یا نیست، امروز از نظر حقوقی تو دنیا مورد بحث. شما میدونید در بسیاری از ایالات متحده آمریکا مجازات اعدام به رسمیت شناخته شده، در بعضی کشورهای اروپایی است، بعضی هم اون رو قبول ندارن. پس بنابراین در نظر حقوقی هم در این که آیا اعدام به عنوان مجازات به کار برود اختلاف نظر وجود دارد.
In regards to the fact that is capital punishment a fair reaction to crime, this is an issue that has been debated extensively in legal circles, and there are even some states in the United States still maintain capital punishment, and even some other countries in the world, so the issue of capital punishment is still being largely debated.
به عنوان یک متخصص علوم اسلامی خدمتتون عرض می‌کنم درست است در اسلام اعدام هست، ولی اگر درست و روشنبینانه بنگریم شرایطی که برای اعدام گذاشته تقریباً اعدامی صورت نمیگیرد. حالا اگر در کشورهای اسلامی گاهی خیلی گشاد دستانه اعدام میکنند اون را باید در اشکال اجرایی کار دانست. بنده معتقدم که اینقدر شرایط اعدام در اسلام دشوار هست که به سادگی حکم اعدام صادر نمیشه یا نباید بشه.
As an expert of Islamic sciences, I tell you that yes, capital punishment is accepted in Islam, but it has conditions that are so stringent that execution should almost never happen. If in fact they do happen in Islamic countries, it is because if it happens excessively in Islamic countries, it is a problem of bringing those religious rulings into practice.
از جمله در مورد همین موردی که شما گفتید یا موردی که مثلا راجع به زنا گفته میشه، شرایطی که گذشته است تقریباً غیر ممکن است ثابت شدن این قضیه و صدور حکم اعدام در مورد آن.
In regards to the issue of gay people as well as the issue of adultery, the conditions that are required for capital punishment are so strict that it's virtually impossible to meet.
البته این نظر من، خیلی ها نظر منم رو قبول ندارن و روش دیگری به کار میبرن، ولی من دارم نظر خودم رو میگم.
Of course, this is my opinion, and a lot of people don't accept my opinion, but I was asked for my opinion, so this is what I believe.
در اسلام و بسیاری از نظام‌های حقوقی حتی غیر دینی لواط و تماس غیر توافقی میان زن و مرد که اسمش زنا گذاشته میشه این رو جرم دونستن.
In many Islamic texts and countries, the homosexual relationships as well as non-consensual heterosexual relationships have been punishable.
خیلی های دیگر هم هستن در دنیا از جمله بخش‌های مهمی از مسیحیت که با این مسئله مخالفن و اون رو جرم میدونن.
There are also others in the world that have similar views, namely important sects of Christianity.
پس درست در اسلام لواط جرمه.
So yes, you are correct. Homosexual activity is a crime in Islam.
جرم هم مجازات داره.
And crimes are punishable.
این که اعدام مجازات یک جرمی میتونه باشه یا نباشه اختلاف نظر وجود داره دربارش.
And the fact that could crimes be punished by execution is debatable.
و این که میان مجازات و خشونت که محکوم است باید تفاوت قائل شد.
And that we must differentiate between punishment and violence, which is condemned.
اما روابط آمریکا و ایران مسئله مهمی که هر جایی میریم صحبت هست و واقعا هم مسئله مهمی است.
Now turning to the issue of Iran-US relationships, which is an important issue, and wherever I go I'm asked this.
و یک سوء تفاهم طولانی وجود داره که ای کاش وجود نمی داشت.
There is a long history of misunderstanding between these two countries.
و ای کاش میشد کاری کرد که این سوء تفاهم از بین بره. من معتقدم که دو ملت بزرگ آمریکا و ایران در کنار هم بهتر میتونن مسائل و منافع خودشون رو تامین کنن تا روی هم قرار بگیرن. هرچند معتقدم ملت ها هیچگاه روی هم قرار نگرفتن و نخواهند گرفت.
And I hope that these misunderstandings can be addressed, and because I believe that the governments of Iran and America can work better if they are alongside each other rather than against each other. But it is my belief that the nations and people of America and Iran have never been in opposition to each other.
دولت من آگاهانه و با مطالعه در جهت رفع سوء تفاهم گام برداشت و معتقدم دولت آقای کلینتون هم با حسن نیت گام‌های متقابل برداشت، گرچه اون گام‌ها کافی نبود و ما گله‌هایی داشتیم از آمریکا که میشد گام‌های بهتری برداره.
During my time as president, we took steps for the rapprochement with America, and it is fair to say that the Clinton administration also took similar steps, but we were not satisfied with the whole process, and we were hoping that more steps could have been taken to bring our two countries together.
ایران معتقدم که برای حل مشکل نیاز به معامله بزرگ یا پاداش بزرگ برای حل مشکل ندارد. اونچه که من معتقدم مورد نیاز هست و باید اون رو بخواهیم انصاف است و نه معامله بزرگ. اگر انصاف و منطق حاکم باشه و حسن نیت این مسائل میتونه خیلی ارزان و آسان حل بشه.
Iran doesn't need a grand bargain or a grand reward to solve this issue. I think the only thing that is required is a bit of fairness, and Iran would be willing to seriously consider resolving this issue.
It remains only for me to say thank you to several people, and so if you would hold just for a second, and I apologize for all the questions that went unanswered. As is quite clear, a forum event like this doesn't occur without lots of work by people here at the school, including Bill White and a group of associates who've been working over the past week diligently. So I would like to say thank you to them. As you undoubtedly noted when you were coming in, security for this event was at a high level. And again, I would like for us to say a word of thanks to the Harvard Police, to the Cambridge Police, to the Boston Police, and to the State Department Security Services who've made this possible for us to enjoy. And finally, if I could go back to the quotation that I began with from President Bush, and let me just give you the line. He says, "I'm interested in learning more about Iran, the Iranian government, how they think, what people within the government think." And I hope today there's pretty good evidence that quite a lot of people at Harvard are interested in these very same questions appropriately. So I hope this is the beginning of a conversation or a dialogue. And I thank very much President Khatami for joining us today and for getting this conversation advanced. So thank you very, very much.
President Khatami wrapping up his remarks here at the JFK School of Government. The former president of the Islamic Republic of Iran served from 1997 to 2005. He's spent almost a week in the U.S. with stops in Chicago, New York, at the UN, and in Washington, D.C. Also, if you missed any of his remarks this afternoon, we will re-air this event at about 1:10 a.m. Eastern tonight. We'll move from this event now to a program that began a short time ago. President Bush is remembering the events of September 11th this afternoon.